What is up, YouTube? This is your host Sam, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a few different items. I've got a number of recent coin wins, as well as a look at how to buy coin lots and make money off of them. So today's topic will be twofolded, looking at those different ideas. And so one of the most recent coin wins I've gotten is this group lot here, which was from Stacks Bowers. And I noticed this lot in particular because I'm a late Byzantine collector, and they had two interesting coins here. In particular, I bought the lot for this coin right here. You can see it is a sort of darker silver piece, and I recognized immediately that it was late Byzantine silver. And through some investigation, I figured it was from John VI Cantacuzene, which would give it a lot of value. So I realized that this coin alone could be worth upwards of $1,000 or $2,000. So with that, I was able to determine what kind of bid I would want to put on this lot. But when buying lots, there's two different ways you can look at it. You can either buy or three, I suppose. You can either buy a coin lot for the addition of your collection to where you would get a number of different coins, and the variety added could then help boost what you have. Like if you were to buy this lot for your collection, you could have had Greek coins, Sassanid Persian coins, Byzantine coins, and Venetian coins. So that first method would just be buying coins to add your collection. The second would be buying a lot to completely resell everything you find and try to make a profit. And the third method would be you buy a lot, keep some coins, and sell the rest. And that was my goal here. My hope is that in buying this lot, I can keep the coins I want to keep and sell the rest to pay for the initial cost of the lot to basically get those coins for free. And so what I've done here is I ended up winning this lot at Stacks Bowers. The hammer was about $450, which is a pretty high amount. But when you look at what's inside the lot, I think you can see that that was a pretty good deal. One of the most catching pieces of the lot is this bottom coin here on the right. You can see it's a trimissus of Justinian, a Byzantine emperor, but what's unusual is on the reverse, you can zoom in here. I'm not sure if the photo shows it super well, but you can see there's an M that is not Ko-Nob, but Ko-Mob, which represents the western half of the empire, or what was fallen then and taken over by the Ostrogoths. So I realized this coin in and of itself is not Byzantine, but actually Ostrogothic. You can notice here too the unusual style, the lettering, and the flow of the drapery on the bust. That all kind of indicates that it's Ostrogothic. And so from that means the coin has a higher value than normal trimissus coins. The reverse here, you can see it's got a mount of some sort in the bottom corner. Seeing that in hand, I was able to tell that it's a soldered coin. Let me pull this up here. So this is when I got the lot in hand. You can see it's sort of dinged up. It's got a few minor issues, but and the soldering. But with all that in hand, all those factors considered, it's still a gold Ostrogothic coin, and I'd put the value of somewhere between $300 to $500, considering all the issues. And so when you look at the lot that I paid about $450 after fees, closer to $600 in total, that single coin alone, when I resell it, should pay for a considerable majority of the lot. It also came with this Greek drachm coin. It is a gorgon on the obverse, and on the reverse it's got a anchor and a crawdad. That's another one where I don't know the exact value, but I would expect it to sell for maybe $100 to $200. We've got a Byzantine trachea here that is not really valuable. That's kind of a junk coin in the lot. We've got a Ptolemaic tetradrachm, and so this is the 4 drachm alternative to the piece we just looked at. It would have been issued in Egypt. I believe it's of Ptolemy the Ninth, who is the father of Cleopatra, that Cleopatra, the famous one. Anyway, I don't know what the value in this would be exactly, but once again, I'd expect maybe around 200, 150, 200. Has a Sassanid drachm. It's got I forget what you call these, obol, maybe, these 2 small Greek fractionals, and a Venetian coin, a grosso. So with all those considered, I would expect that I could maybe get upwards of $1,000 for those coins right here without even selling the 2 Byzantines. And since that's what I collect, I can keep those coins and add them to my collection. So we've got a Asper of Trebizond here, and then that Cantacuzene coin I mentioned. So my idea is then that I can bolster my collection with those 2 coins and sell off the rest and make even more money than I paid for the lot. So I basically got those 2 coins for free, plus some additional money. And to look at those coins that I wanted to keep, in particular, this was the main draw for myself. You can notice it's got a bit of an unusual style, rather crude, but that's not unusual for the late Byzantine Empire. At this point, things weren't going so well. They lost a lot of land post the 1204 Crusade, so Byzantium was in shambles and slowly dying. But this is of the monk, philosopher, statesman, John VI Cantacuzene. You can see here on the right the legend, the KHTI, that's pretty clear, which represents that this is a coin of him. Seeing it in pictures, I thought it would just be a basilicon coin, which is a standard fraction you can kind of imagine a basilicon was the base standard unit modeled on the Venetian grosso. That would have been kind of your regular denomination, but upon getting it and weighing it in hand, I realized the weight of the coin is actually twice that, which means this is a double basilicon, which is an extremely rare denomination of this already rare coin. I saw there was one other one on AC Search that sold in, I think, 2001 with CNG. So it's pretty cool to get such a rare coin. And I believe it's of John the Sixth. So you can see the left side legend is damaged, so we can't exactly make out what it says. So we know it's a Kantokuzen family member due to the right-hand legend. And I was speaking to the curator of the Dumbarton Oaks Museum, and he gave some insight that it could also be of Kantokuzen's son, Matthew. But that'll require some more research, some more investigating. But either way, it's a really interesting, rare coin that I was super excited to get, something I didn't think I'd ever own. But thanks to the screw plot, I was able to get a Kantokuzen silver piece. Next up is that Trebizond Asper. So this is after the silver trachea, they introduced a new denomination, and that was a silver Asper. That's what this is here. You can see it's got Saint Eugenius on the obverse, and it's got the Trebizond Emperor on the reverse. It's not the greatest example. You can see it's got some PVC damage, but once again, I'm pretty much getting that for free, or really getting paid to own it, so pretty happy with that. It's interesting here, you can see above the Emperor, you've got the Hand of God, the Manus Dei. That's not always seen on Byzantine coins, and it's kind of interesting just to note that here. You can see I forget the exact name for that pose of the hand, but it indicates a blessing of Christ, and you'll see it in a lot of Orthodox Greek icons, that hand motion, and that appears on the coin, basically signifying that this Emperor Emmanuel is being blessed by God. His reign is approved by the heavens. So that's a neat piece. Another coin win I've gotten recently, this is not from that group lot, but a different win from Savica Numismatics. It is a very rare basilicon of the Emperor Andronicus III. So this would be before the coin we looked at of John VI Kantokuzenos. This would have been, I guess, pretty much the ruler before the civil wars that put John VI in power. And here we can see we have the Saint Demetrius on the obverse holding a spear and shield. And on the reverse, we've got the Emperor Andronicus III being blessed by the Virgin Mary. And there are about 8 of these coins known. And they typically go for quite a bit amount of money, but due to this huge break, crack, chip, I was able to get this quite cheap, which I was happy with. Otherwise, this is a coin denomination, a type that I wouldn't be able to own due to the cost, but with that damage, I was able to acquire this piece, so I'm very happy with that. It is listed in Simon Bendall's PCPC, the private collection of Paleologan coins. There it's listed as a half basilicon. I forget the exact weight on mine, but it's somewhere closer to 3/4, but either way, it would have been a time where the basilicon was slowly being shrunk in size due to economic pressures, but it's a nice example. It has nice style. And I forgot to mention, too, that with the John VI Kantokuzenos piece, that is unlisted everywhere. With it being a double fractional basilicon, it's unlisted in pretty much all the standard references, and besides that one piece at CNG, it's unique, so that's a cool piece to have. Also, in terms of recent wins, I got this trachea of John Komnenos Doukas. He was a Thessalonican despot, so post the 1204 Crusade, the Byzantine Empire split into pretty much 2 or 3 major halves with the Nicene Empire, the Thessalonican Empire, and Trebizond. And so this was the last or second to last ruler of the the Thessalonican Empire. You can see here we have the emperor holding the Anakexakakia, which was a scroll that was designed to remind the Byzantine emperor that they were in fact mortal. It would contain ashes on the inside, and the ashes represented that the body of the emperor would decay over time, and that he was no better than just a man. And on the upper right field, you can see there's also the Manus Dei again. This example is not as nice as the one we looked at from Trebizond, but you can still see the hand of God blessing the emperor here. And although this is a small coin, it's rather nice and rare. You don't see this many details often on his coins. They're rather crude. And as is common with his reign, the obverse is a brokage error. There's no die used. They only had a die for the reverse. This is a cool win too. I got off eBay for I think like $16 or $17. It is a trachea from the Second Bulgarian Empire, and I really bought it for the obverse here. It's not the best depiction, but you can see it actually has the Saint Nicholas here. That's Santa Claus. It's kind of interesting to see that he is on Byzantine coins. He's holding the Book of Gospels and has on his bishop's robes. And Saint Nick was an interesting figure who actually fought with the heretic Arius and punched him at the Council of Nicaea. So it's just cool to have Santa Claus and all that history on a coin like this. Even though it's not the best example, I think for that price, I'm quite happy with it. Another recent win was this off eBay. It's a trachea of Manuel Komnenos Dukas, so he was the predecessor of John, who we looked at right here. So this would have been John's uncle, who ruled before him, and it's a great example, actually. Probably the best I've seen. This certain type isn't often in good condition, but this one is actually. It's got a great strike. You can see it's got full legends here on the left and partial legends on the right. You've got the emperor holding a sword with Saint Demetrius, and above you can see there's a sort of ring of stars with the main star on the top, and the Manus Dei, the hand of God, once again coming down to bless the Emperor Emmanuel. So it's a nice piece. It hasn't actually arrived yet, but I thought I'd go ahead and include this because I was excited to win and add that to my collection. And the last coin we'll be looking at is from Savica again. It is a large module trachea of John Komnenos Dukas. So this figure who we just looked at, this trachea is actually of a small module size. You can tell from the position of my hands that that's quite a small coin. But here this is a large module example, which is pretty rare for him. During his reign, most coins were issued from a smaller size, so to get a large module example is actually quite rare and hard to do. So even though this isn't in the best condition, I'm quite happy to add that to my collection. You can see the I and the W here in the bottom left for Ioannis. And it's the emperor here standing, once again holding the Anakexakakia. And next to him is the military Saint Demetrius, who is blessing the emperor. As you can see, Byzantines oftentimes use similar saints or motifs across their coins. The basilicon we looked at here, this is also of Saint Demetrius, in a much different style, but the same figure here. Although he has a shield and a spear in this design, on the trachea he actually has a sword. So overall, yeah, some interesting wins here that I was quite happy to recently add to my collection, and I think it's pretty interesting kind of looking at that group lot too, just to see how oftentimes if you're smart about the way you buy coins, you can actually get some for free and make money on a lot. You don't always have to lose money when you buy a coin, even though you can resell it eventually. If you're smart about your buys and keep an eye out on group lots, you can actually make money and keep coins as well. So I hope this has been an interesting video for you all, looking at recent coin wins. You can kind of see how my late Byzantine tastes are reflected with some of the pieces I've picked up, and I hope you all learned something about the group lots. Maybe that inspires you to keep a closer eye out on the market, and maybe you'll be lucky as well and find a great deal like this. So until next time, I'm your host Sam. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below what your favorite coin of this haul was. Thanks.